Right, 4 September 2024, and today I've got a quick update for you, and I would like to give you the breaking stories and trending stories in Zimbabwe. And today's story, I'm not going to enjoy it because the person I'm going to talk about here, Sean Mnangagwa, actually, I've got a soft spot for Sean Mnangagwa. I think he's one of the nicer kids of Mnangagwa. So I actually don't like this story that I'm going to do today, but I have to do it. It's my job. So let's go into this big story that has broken, and this is going to be massive. So Sean Mnangagwa is a major in the Zimbabwe army, and that is Sean Mnangagwa here. He trained in China, and he's currently working in the Zimbabwe Presidential Guard. So the hat that you're seeing there is the Presidential Guard, the green. Normally, he used to wear the yellow, which is the infantry. So I don't know when he moved to Presidential Guard. So Sean Mnangagwa is in the news today. He's going to be trending very heavily because his bodyguards have been arrested in Bulawayo. 3 of them appeared in court yesterday. They appeared in court over extortion. And you know that this is the second time in less than 6 months that we're talking about Sean Mnangagwa. I did a story a few months back, about Sean Mnangagwa's activities at the Beitbridge border, where people were being made to pay hundreds of thousands for fees after or for goods that were moving into Zimbabwe or out of Zimbabwe. So today's story is very bad, and this is because Dumisani Dube here, and you can see the details of this story in the Newsday newspaper. Dumisani Dube here is a prominent lawyer and gold dealer in Bulawayo, and over the past year, starting April 2023, Sean Mnangagwa's people or bodyguards have been collecting money, protection fees from mines in Matabeleland, and this includes multiple mines. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 mines. They've got a book that we're moving around with, in which they collected protection fees, and I'm not talking about small amounts here. I'm talking of a total of $1.5 million US just from Dumisani Dube. Dumisani Dube has then went to Harare to meet Sean Mnangagwa and to meet the Attorney General's office. I think that is Mabiza. I don't know if she was appointed at that time. They then went to meet Sean Mnangagwa to talk about this because he was now getting death threats. So the guys were now threatening to kill Dumisani Dube here. They were threatening to kill him because he just literally ran out of money. And imagine if you keep paying, and they're now going after his clients. So you can go and see the details of this story in the Newsday newspaper. Massive story over there, over the extortion. And the 3 of the bodyguards appeared in court yesterday, the magistrate's court, and they're going to be back today. That is the bodyguards of Sean Mnangagwa, and there are 2 that are still on the run. So currently, Munyaradzi Charakupa, Victor Jaja, and Tawanda Mangi have appeared in court because they were threatening to kill Dumisani Dube, and they have done a massive racket over there, using the fact that they're in the president's office, and one of them is a former chief of police at Beitbridge. And these are not fake stories, because if they were fake, then this thing was not going to continue from last year, April or February, in fact, to now when they were arrested. So it means that something went wrong. The team was fighting among itself. But Sean Mnangagwa now implicated once again in another scam. If you Google Sean Mnangagwa online, you'll find out that there are a lot of scams. And I've always said, Guti, the problem with Sean is besides Makeda. The problem with Sean is he doesn't have a business that is running. So if you're a president's son, these are little monies, 800,000, 200,000, that's cheap change. So Sean should be having a business that is running. You know that he also had a fight with Wikinochvai over the Starlink tender. So the problem with Sean is he literally doesn't have a business. That's all. That is the problem. And he needs to get a proper business. Otherwise, we'll end up in jail. That is the problem with Sean. If you look at his brother, Collins, I'm sure he's got a much better business running. He managed to donate something to ZANU-PF last year. If you look at Kuda is in business. He's he's in black market. He is in the Ministry of Finance. So at least those guys have got a business that is running. The problem with Sean is currently, because of his military training, I don't think he's got the ability to go into business and do what the other brothers are doing. Hence, he ends up in these kind of deals. And as I said, he's actually quite a nice young man. I don't think he is personally a ruthless and vicious killer. But I think the problem is just that he is someone who does not have a business. And that needs to be addressed before he gets into a lot of serious trouble. Trouble is going to be following Sean Mnangagwa because of these stories that are appearing and popping up with his name. And so that is the main issue here, the failure to have a business that is running, that generates income. You end up using the gun, because obviously if you're in the army, that is all that you have. You've got a gun and you've got a lot of people at your disposal. And in Matabeleland, there's a lot of mining taking place. People have got massive amounts of money. If someone can extort from you $800,000, that means it's change. There is a lot of money floating around in Matabeleland, and this needs to be formalized somehow. I don't know how someone can move around with $800,000 that they extorted. And these guys who were working for Sean, they have taken $55,000 over this. So for accommodation, for food, these monies are a lot of money. If I give most of you here $55,000, you can retire. Most of you will like quit your jobs and retire because let's say at your job they're paying you $1,000. That means for the next 55 months you are going to be working for 1,000 the whole day. So we're talking here big monies. Jokes aside, it's a lot of money that we're talking about here. Unfortunately, the reality is that Zimbabwe is the wild west of Africa. If everything just gets sorted out, that country has got so much money and it will be impossible to stop the country from developing. So we have a situation here. And if Zimbabweans are not careful, you are going to come from Mnangagwa, and then you are going to end up with a worse situation. You're going to end up with the mafia running the place. So this is a critical moment for Zimbabwe. And police, army, president's office, all these guys are in this game. So someone just needs to come in who's got enough power to stop everything and bring order to this wild west that we're watching developing right now. Zimbabwe is becoming a wild west, and people who are making money, they are making a lot of cash. So besides the politics, there is the money issue behind the scenes. Extortion, protection fees, illegal mining, all these things are happening behind the scenes. Right, I want to then go to other stories. I haven't managed to look at the H Metro newspaper, but you can go and check it out. There is a lot of interesting stories in the H Metro newspaper. Then I want to show you a story here about Mkoma Wangu, Paul, what is Paul Tungwarara, right? Let's see what they're saying here. Okay, tempter Tungwarara, Prevail International Trust was duped of property worth $75,000 by alleged habitual fraudster Tedious Marufu. You can go and check out that story. The monies that are moving around here are huge amounts of money. And Tungwarara has got a contract with Mnangagwa which runs over 3 billion for the supply of boreholes, those little buildings that they're putting over there. I've shown you the story before. Go check it out in Eshu Metro newspaper. But the actual story that I'm looking for is the story of Anavesta. It's very interesting to me to see what is going to happen with Anavesta. Marufu, let's see if there is anything here that they've said about it. If they haven't, I'll check it out and I'll give you guys an update. That is to do with Keno, Minyotavo, Francisca Baloi, Chiwenga. You know that the guys who were building here, are in jail right now. So I did not find out what happened yesterday. I don't have an update on that. I'll give you an update as soon as I have it. Then in terms of other news that is happening, let's see if the Herald Zimbabwe has published before I go to my next South African stories. So there's no Herald Zimbabwe. Chronicle newspaper, let's see what they have got in the Chronicle newspaper before I go to other things. So Chamisa has tweeted. I don't think this is Chamisa who's tweeting here, guys. I think there's someone who's trying to make fun of Chamisa. So when you see a tweet about God from Chamisa's handles, do not take that as Chamisa. Don't take it at face value. I personally believe that something has happened to Nelson Chamisa and they're keeping him under lock and key. That's why you can't see him. You will never see Chamisa by himself going to Masvingo and standing on the stage and starting to talk. That won't happen because they have got him under lock and key. Then let's go to events for today. General Chiwenga will preside over the funeral or the burial of Brigadier General. What is Brigadier General here? So I don't even actually see the name of the Brigadier General who has died in Dambami. So in Dambami, Shadreck is going to be buried. For the first time, I'm going to see General Chiwenga presiding over a burial by himself. So I've given you the story. General Dambami just dropped dead, like he was holding some vegetables, just about to go to the market, and then he dropped dead, just like that. No sickness, nothing. That is what I had. And so let's see what happened. Let's see if someone is checking out the generals. My general Arkubatwa say Ishwa. So that is what could be happening over there. And then the Warriors of Zimbabwe, oh, what a shame. The Warriors of Zimbabwe are going to be playing in Uganda because we do not have our own stadium. Our stadiums in Zimbabwe don't have a toilet or toilets. So what's happening is Zimbabwe has to play outside the country. So on Friday, you'll be watching the Zimbabwe Warriors playing Kenya, I think, and this will be happening in Uganda. What a mess. We can easily find 50,000 to build toilets. Magaya Stadium also doesn't have sufficient toilets. So we've got a problem. In fact, Magaya Stadium is the next stadium that can easily be upgraded. But these guys, they don't even see the value of fixing these things. And it's crazy that our country has reached this point. Then I want to quickly jump to South Africa. What an amazing country South Africa is becoming. So this is Eskom board chairman, Mteto Nyati. He has revealed that Eskom is on its way to become profitable. So Eskom has been on a turnaround for the past 6 months. There's been no power cuts in South Africa for the past 6 months since the election. And I'm starting to think, why did I invest so much in an inverter? So they're doing very, very well, but they still have a problem on their balance sheet. So currently, Eskom has got debt of 15 billion US dollars, and they're currently making a loss of 1 billion US dollars a year. So that is minimum 1 billion US dollars loss a year. I'm talking about dollars, which is about 23 billion rands loss. And they're saying they're going to start being profitable. They've implemented some changes recently. Then in another trading story in South Africa, This guy is an engineer. He's been jailed for 15 years for falsifying his qualification. And he was a chief engineer at PRASA, the engineering company, the rail company here in South Africa. He lied about his qualifications, and he also lied that he got an offer in Germany, which resulted in the company increasing salary from 1.6 million a year to 2.8 million a year. And when they found out, he had already left the job, so they followed him up and took his property to replace the money that he had stolen. So lying about the qualifications is not a good idea. And also lying about the job offer, to say you got a job offer, and when you don't, so that your boss can give you a raise. That's not a good idea. Then we've got a sad story here. Yesterday, member of the provincial legislature of Gauteng, Moipane Mhlongo, was hijacked and then kidnapped, and then they drove around with her. She was able to be picked up by police and a tracking company because someone raised the alarm. So if you're in Johannesburg, you have to be a bit careful. There's a lot of kidnappings going on, and there is a lot of taking you around. So they take you and they start withdrawing money from a bank account, which is very sad. This is happening very regularly. I now want to see if the Herald Zimbabwe has published. If they haven't published, I'm going to wrap this up. But what I just want you guys to know is that Mnangagwa has gone to China. Mnangagwa's vision is very small. He doesn't have a big vision. That is the problem with Mnangagwa. So whoever is going to take over from Mnangagwa is going to do very, very well in Zimbabwe, especially with the high-speed rail. Mnangagwa says he has signed 17 deals with China, and I've been looking at all those deals. There is no high-speed rail there. Similarly, you saw Kuti Mohadi went to Indonesia. He did not expect any of the rail projects over there. They are not inspecting the rail projects in Tanzania. They don't understand the value of a tourism-based economy. They don't understand the value of speed. So Bulawayo to Harare, 2 hours. Bulawayo to Victoria Falls, 3.5 hours. Bulawayo to Bedbridge, 2 to 3, 4 hours. Those kind of movements can totally transform the country, and you won't have to worry or cry about sanctions. But the problem is, Mnangagwa, they want something quick. They want to think about 2030. Whereas what you want to do is to have a 50-year strategy. Zimbabwe is a very, very ideal country for tourism. And tourism, if you look at what I said yesterday about Indonesia, 1.2 trillion in GDP, of which 60% is services. That is banking, tourism, travel. Those are the kind of things that you need to do. We are on the verge of a massive breakthrough in Zimbabwe because the country is so well placed. It's got gold, it's got minerals all over the place. If you go on a plane to Zimbabwe, it's always full. And the airlines are failing to fulfill the orders. If you go to, let's say you're flying from Cape Town to Harare, it's the cheapest flight because it's always full. If you go to Zambia from here, it costs 18,000 rands to travel, return to Cape Town. If you want to travel, return to Harare, it costs 2,000 rands sometimes. It's as low as 2,000 rands because that plane is always full and that route has got multiple flights going up and down. Zimbabwe is extremely well placed, but we just have guys who don't have the right vision. And Mnangagwa, they're still thinking about arresting people. And you saw what Mnangagwa did yesterday when he went to Xi Jinping of China. He went and told the man that he is the chairman of SADC. Can you believe that Mnangagwa thinks the president of China cares that he was elected chairman of SADC? So that is how crazy the situation has become in Zimbabwe. Madara and Zungu. So Mnangagwa, I think when he's gone, everyone is going to be like, what, did that really happen? Or what? What was that? So I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'm not going to stay long here. I think what I'll do is tonight I'm going to be back. We're also going to look at what happens, what Chiwenga says during the burial. So today, check out that burial. It's going to happen at around 8 a.m. at the National Heroes Acre. And also, we're looking forward to the release of timber Today, Timber and the rest of the guys were hoping that they'll be released. That means the rest of the guys must be able to come out. Anana Matai and all those guys. What Mnangagwa is doing, Chibaranzi, Kusungavanu, and I want to make this clear. No one, even people in the government, are ashamed of what Mnangagwa is doing with these arrests. This is so embarrassing. Mnangagwa Nenzara. Mnangagwa is destroying our country. So I would like to thank all of you, and let's see what in the comment sections here. I heard Chamisa intended to go to a funeral. Guys, that's a lie. Chamisa is not going to go anywhere. Chamisa is under lock and key. These guys kept. You are dealing with the psychos here, psychopathic, what is psychotic people. Don't believe all these things that you're seeing about Chamisa tweeting about God every time. It makes no sense. So what I've said to you is, until you see Chamisa freely walking to Masvingo and doing what he used to do, and posting pictures of himself freely moving around, you must know that something is wrong. And unfortunately, Zimbabweans like theories. They like to believe that Chamisa is just sitting in his house and he doesn't want to come out, and he is sitting there enjoying himself, seeing the whole Zimbabwe suffering, seeing all these people arrested, and just doesn't want to say anything. I don't believe it. And I gave you a story about the Kenya trip last week, 2 weeks back. So let's watch carefully this situation. We're in a critical moment right now where a lot of things are happening. But let me recap. Let me recap before I go. Sean Mnangagwa, here, the son of Mnangagwa, one of the twins, a major in the Zimbabwe National Army. His bodyguards have appeared in court in Bulawayo yesterday, and they are appearing again, 3 of them, while 2 of them are on the run for extortion. They were extorting Bulawayo lawyer, Dumzane Dube, who's also a gold dealer, and the monies involved are $1.5 million. Dumzane Dube is also a board member of CITE. So my brother, Zenzele Ndebele, I don't know how he's connected to this whole situation. So I will probably give him a shout and find out if Dumzane Dube is still a board member of CITE. CITE is the Center for Innovation and Technology, which is one of the media houses in Bulawayo. So I do not know exactly what is the situation here, but what I know is that Sean Mnangagwa is implicated. The Dumzane Dube had to travel to Harare to talk to Sean after a year of extortion, and the monies that were taken include hotel fees, cash which is said to have been given to Sean, and also money for food, and there were death threats. The reason why this ended up getting to this point is that there were now death threats that would be issued continuously. And I think the men said, this is too much. I cannot continue paying. But these guys are moving around the book. They're extorting multiple people in Matabeleland who are owning gold mines. They walk around with books, and you have to pay a protection fee. And this is the current situation around Sean Mnangagwa, who I say the main problem is, I think, is the one Asena business. He doesn't have a running business. He needs to get a business off the ground. Because the Mnangagwa family, as I said, they're in a tight position. If Mdara gets out of office, what are they going to do? Let's say there are 70 of them. How are they going to feed the family? It's like what happened to President Zuma this side. He had a bunch of kids, but you saw the plan that he ended up making with one of his sons over there, whose name I won't mention. So I think this is it. Please go and look at the statement by Bishop Nyawakanga, and also we're going to be watching the developments with Anavesta Mdiwa. She is appeared in court yesterday for bail. I want to see if she's out. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you again 10 minutes past 9 every night. We'll be giving you an update of the day. Thank you very much, and a good day.